Hey there, Koopalings! It's Donnie filling in for Kevin on this, episode 35 of the Play Some Video Games podcast. I'm joined by a couple of heroes of mine. Jason Lacey, how you doing?
I'm a hero. Am I the hero? Can I be the hero of time?
No. You can't do that.
All right, it was worth a shot.
And Kyle Hyman, how you doing, buddy?
Doing excellent. Excited to talk about that new Nintendo GameCube.
That new Nintendo GameCube. That's right. We'll get into that later.
The Okama Game Sphere.
Did I introduce myself?
You did.
All right.
That's the kind of podcast we're going to have tonight.
That's it. See what happens when Kevin leaves, folks? Apparently, he just quit today. He just wrote us about an hour ago, and he said he's done with us. I think he blamed Kyle.
I don't think that's true at all.
Yeah, you're right. That's not true at all. He's busy.
Maybe he was
stuff.
emasculated by Q's deep voice last week.
Oh, it was sexy.
Oh, that was so good.
No, he's just having one of those life days where life really gives it to you. So he's taking the night off, and you get me, which means the podcast is not going to be nearly as good because I'm not very good at this. But that's okay. We'll get through it. So, weekly check-in. Kyle, let's start with you. What you been doing, man?
Pretty slow couple of weeks for me in regards to gaming. I went back after our couple week ago show. I actually went back and finished up that Platinum Trophy in Oceanhorn, so that was always nice. After that, I jumped into Headlander. Seth has been a big proponent of this game and really enjoyed it. He reviewed it on the site. I believe he gave it a 90, so that's pretty high. I mean, that's a good score. I don't know if I would have gone quite that high, but it's a darn enjoyable little game. I was really impressed. Double Fine's games are often hit and miss with me. I kind of enjoy what they do, but I also don't always understand what they do, which is fine. I think that they definitely, go to the...
How hard is it?
Oh, it's not very hard at all. It's not very complicated.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't find it very hard.
The game looked really cool. I watched a couple YouTube videos of it, and the whole, detach head, solve puzzle, I was like, man, that looks really neat.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking of the Double Fine stuff, and I was like, man, I hope that's not too hard.
Yeah, I actually thought, for some reason, and they never said this, so I don't know where I got this idea from, but in my mind, I had this idea that when you would detach your head, you'd have, this limited amount of time, whether it be fuel or whatever, until you had to, connect to another body. So, I don't know where I got that idea from, totally made it up on my own, and that's not at all true, which is good, because I don't know if I would have enjoyed the game as much. It's a fun little time. It's not super hard. None of the puzzles is definitely just a Metroidvania, and they do this actually in some ways a really ingenious little puzzle solving that you have to do that you have to be on a certain color body to get through certain doors, but it basically follows Roy G. Biv. So if you're on a red body, you can only get through red doors. But if you're
So it's like Headlander?
Yeah, for Headlanders. But if you're on
Oh, I'm sorry, not Head. I was thinking, what is that game?
What?
There's another game that kind of has that mechanic. It's like an old PlayStation 3, Xbox. Outlast?
No.
You guys play Outlast?
I've never played it.
Isn't that what it's called?
I'm familiar. Outlast is that first-person survival horror
game, yeah.
Man, I'm missing out.
But anyway, so yeah, it kind of follows the idea that if you're on orange, obviously you can go through orange or red. But it's a fun little game. It has Double Fine's quirky humor in it. It's not very long. It actually is also a very easy platinum. I actually got the platinum in that as well since last time we talked. But it's a fun game. I would definitely recommend it. I think the price isn't too bad on it. It's enjoyable. I really had a good time with that. I definitely would recommend it. So I don't want to necessarily say a complete surprise hit, but definitely a game I wasn't expecting to enjoy as much as I did. So I would definitely encourage you to check out Headlander if you have the opportunity. I also jumped into this little game called Rive, which Johnny has a big fan of and has been beating the drum for quite a while.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah. Man, is it tough as nail. Either one of two things is true in this situation, maybe both of them. Number one, it's super hard, or number two, I really suck at video games, or probably a combination of those two things, because man, is that game tough. I really enjoy hard games typically, but man, this game is pretty unforgiving. I've died a lot in it. I was looking at doing a review, and I was looking at all the video I'd captured so far, and I was like, I don't know if I want to show anybody this. This is really bad. But I'm probably 2/3 of the way through the story on it. It is a lot of fun. It's very challenging, but it's kind of a platformer twin stick shooter hybrid. And the general story is you're on a space station, and you control this little robot who's just trying to get some resources and eventually get off the space station. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. And, you have this robot that runs the space station that's giving you a tough time and doesn't want you to leave and doesn't want you to destroy all of its stuff. But it's a fun little game. Like I said, tough as nails. So if you enjoy that sort of thing and enjoy being challenged, the visuals are good. The controls are perfect. Like, when you die, it's because you messed up. I mean, that's not ever a control problem. But, yeah, so I would really definitely encourage you to check it out. Again, a pretty inexpensive game. I think it's less than $15 or right around that $15 mark. But if you enjoy those tough as nail, twin-stick shooter type games, definitely encourage you to check that one out. I'll probably still do a full review on it. I just got to finish it up. I've also jumped into another smaller game called Strike Vector X. Actually, Nathan got a code for this game for me, so I've been working on this guy. So expect to see a review for this soon. It's kind of cool. It's a nice little flying game where you're a ship and you're flying around. You've been protecting your little mining platform out in space, and then you get attacked by these pirates, and they're basically like, hey, why don't you come be a pirate with us? And you say, okay. So you just fly off and you're doing these missions, and it has a pretty short little story mode. I'm almost completely done with it. The only downfall I really would have so far is that the story missions are really short. When you look at the leaderboard, some of them are done in less than 2 minutes. And there's a lot of loading screens between things, so that's kind of been my only downfall so far, is that you play for a couple minutes, then you sit at a loading screen, and then select a map, and then sit at another loading screen, and then jump into it for, a 4 or 5 minute experience, and then you have to go through that whole process again. But from a gameplay perspective and how it controls, it's really fun. I'm enjoying myself with it. Nathan and I are going to do some multiplayer, because that's a big part of it, so we're going to jump into that pretty quick here, so expect a full review on that sometime next week. But so far, early impressions are good of Strike Vector X. And finally, I've jumped back into BioShock. I was really debating whether or not to buy the BioShock collection, and I got weak, and I broke down, and I bought it. So
I didn't even have to tell you to say that you're weak. You brought it up on your own.
I know. I was really trying hard not to pick it up because I was like, Mafia 3 is right around the corner, and I really want to play that, and I have plenty to play in the meantime. And then everyone was talking about how fun it was and how cool it was. I would stream it, but unfortunately you can't for some reason. But so I'm enjoying it. It is BioShock again. I mean, I've played all 3 of them already and beaten all 3 of them already. I'm not very far into it at all because I've been playing these other games and I just haven't had a ton of time to game lately. So, as I expected, I'm maybe going to beat the first one, and then Mafia 3 will be here. So it is what it is, but... Yeah, so, enjoying my time in Rapture again. So that's kind of what I've been up to, Donnie.
What's your favorite from that series?
Probably BioShock 2. I just enjoyed... I think BioShock from a story perspective is better, but BioShock 2, just from a gameplay perspective, I enjoyed quite a bit more. BioShock Infinite, I probably would have enjoyed if there was almost no combat, to be honest. I felt like the combat, and especially the shooting in BioShock Infinite, I thought was pretty bad. But yeah, so probably BioShock 2 for me. I just think it's a pretty good put together of everything. I think, purely on story and atmosphere and everything, obviously BioShock I think is a little better, but BioShock 2 to me just lifted that gameplay to help meet the story a little bit better.
I played maybe the first quarter of BioShock. I really liked it, and I just never finished it. And then I never played BioShock 2 or Infinite. I never played any of them. Why are you weak for buying the collection, man?
Because I buy so many games, Donnie. I buy a lot of games, and I buy...
That's a good thing. We run a video game blog.
Right, but...
I would hope the...
Well, I can't always just buy video games. We've had this conversation about how many games I have on my PS4. But that, and just the fact that
you'll get to them.
Well, see... Dude, I have games that I bought Black Friday last year still in the cellophane. Like, I haven't even opened them yet, so... I don't know. I gotta figure out a way to work through this backlog a little bit better and be a little more effective with it. Because they're games I want to play. It's not that I don't want to play them or don't like... But, like, I really want to play Sleeping Dogs. It's still in the cellophane. Still sitting there, staring at me, and every once in a while I'm like, I should really play that. And then I'm like, yeah, but I'm in the middle of these 6 other games right now. Do I really want to be in the middle of 7?
Yes is the answer.
Yes is always the answer.
Maybe it is.
I'll jump in. I'm going to go ahead and just let the audience know. Whatever that game is that I'm thinking about, it's killing me. I'm going to spend the rest of the episode. There is a game on Xbox 360. I distinctly remember it. Maybe it's called like Outlander or something like that. But it's a puzzle platformer where you have to change colors. Like you use the triggers to change colors. You don't pop your head off. But you have to change colors to get through like the different waves and different lasers and different doors and stuff like that. It sounds like it's very similar. Before I get into my week, there's been two things that's happened to me in the last month that I distinctly said, I've got to tell this on the podcast. And then when the podcast came, I was so busy preparing what I did that week, I completely forgot about them. So I'm going to get them out of the way now. Number one is my daughter, who is 10 years old, beat her first game. And she streams for the website, and she's done that stuff, and I'm even talking to her about possibly reviewing it. But it's her first game she's actually reached the full credit screen on, and it is a game that I haven't even beaten, and that is Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. She got through all chapters and everything, so I want to give a shout out to my daughter Victoria. Hats off, Daddy's proud. The second thing is, I had a funny dentist story a couple weeks ago. You guys remember this?
Yeah, you're like, remind me to tell the story. And
remind me to tell the story. So a couple weeks ago, I go to the dentist, and I feel like now that some time has passed, maybe it's not as funny. So you guys be the judge. So I go to the dentist. I'm supposed to get a crown and a filling, and it's like my last dentist appointment, like on my current plan. Like everything is good. I have no cavities. So I'm sitting there in this office, and the doctor comes in. And they go, all right, you ready for these fillings? I said, sure. And they go, all right, we're going to numb you up. So they're laying me back. They gave me the shot in the mouth. And they're like, we're going to give this, 10 minutes or so to sit there and numb up. So I'm sitting in this chair, and this old man who's like maybe 20 feet behind me at their little specialist counter. My dentist has this little counter that when you're done, you go and sit down and you pay your bill and they call your insurance. They do everything they got to do kind of there. And he's losing his mind. He is so angry. He's like maybe like 70 years old. He's a pretty old guy. And he's just like, this is outrageous. This is ridiculous. He's screaming at the top of his lungs. Everybody in the entire office is like looking over their shoulders. All the dentist assistants are walking around. They're like peeking around the corner like, what's going on? I don't know what happened. Apparently his insurance didn't cover it, or he did. I don't know what happened. I couldn't pay attention. But after all of this happens, and it probably lasted 10 minutes of this guy screaming at this poor girl who's just like, sir, I can't help you. And then the doctors come, and he's actually wanting to talk to the doctor that's giving me the filling. He's like, I want to talk. Her name is Dr. Foot. He's like, I want to talk to Dr. Foot right now. Like, she's going to do something. Like, she's the dentist. And so he leaves. Eventually he leaves. And the doctor comes back and she goes, so I went back and took a look at your x-rays again. She said, I've got good news and I've got bad news. And I said, okay. She said, the good news is we already filled these fillings the last time you came. She said, the bad news is we actually numbed your mouth and you're going to be this way for like the next 4 hours for no reason. And they took my payment up front.
Oh, jeez.
So they're like, so we need you to go stand over there while we fix this. And I'm like, where that guy is? And they're like, yeah. So I walk over there, and I can be kind of a pest. I typically like to kind of, push people's buttons. So I'm sitting there, and the same girl that was helping the man, she's sitting there and she's like, and I can hear her on the other side of the wall. She's like, I don't know how to do this. We've never had to do this before. How do I refund, this credit? It hasn't even passed through yet, and yada, yada, yada. So she opens the door, she walks through. I look her dead in the eyes and I go, this is outrageous. I can't believe you numbed my mouth and you didn't even do this and you took my money. And the shock of this poor girl's face is like the worst day she's ever had already. And her eyes got wide, and all the assistants gathered around, and they looked at me, and I was like, I'm just playing with you. Is that a funny story? I felt like that was a really funny day. I had the day off because of all this, so I just went home and played video games with a numb mouth.
I'm not sure she found it that funny.
She did after I told her I was joking. She told me, she's like, oh my God, I started to sweat. She's like, you had me so scared. All right, enough about dentistry. You're not here to listen to that. This week I played a couple games. I played Box Boy, the sequel to Box Boy on 3DS. I got through the first 5 worlds. It's more Box Boy. If you liked Box Boy, you'll like Box Boy. It's got some new tricks. It's got the color green in it, so it actually has some color this time around. You also have a companion halfway through the game that joins you. And like when you jump, she jumps and stuff like that, and it makes the puzzles all that more harder. I still, to this day, let me sit here and think. I don't know if I can recommend a game for $5 more than Box Boy. I think for $5, that is like the most bang for the buck video game you can get. So I really enjoy it. I played Hot Shots Golf on my Vita.
Yeah.
Like every day, like all night. Kyle, have you played Hot Shots Vita?
I have it on Vita, yeah.
Man, I am like through like level 10 already.
Nice. Awesome.
Like I probably pay, what is that? There's 5 courses. No, there's 6 courses if you include the character match in every level.
Right.
So that's 60 rounds of golf I've logged in the last 2 weeks.
That's impressive.
And I've already unlocked all that stuff once before. I just had to start all over and do it again. So I'm playing the beast out of that. And then I have played Severed. I played it on Wii U. Kyle, I know you played it on Vita.
I did.
And we got the code from Drinkbox Studios, the makers of Guacamelee, and I reviewed it for them, and I posted my review on the site and my review done quick video up on YouTube, and I didn't like it as much as most people did. That's a hard... I mean, we're kind of new to this. I mean, all of us are new to this. We've only been doing this for like, less than a year, and reviewing a game, I think it put me in an interesting place this week, because it was easy because it already came out on Vita. It was easy to go look at people's reviews, and there's all these 8s and 9s, and I even saw some 10s. And here I am, and I'll go ahead and be forthright. I immediately gave the game a score in the mid-60s, and then I kind of slept on it, came back to my review, and I bumped it up just a little bit to a 71. So like there's a difference between the 6 and 7, I believe, and that's why I gave it just that little bit of push. But it's weird, and I don't know if you guys can relate to this. It's weird posting a review that's like an outlier, because I kind of felt like I was missing something. I went back and I played some more of it, and I watched some videos, and I just disagreed with a lot of people, which, it made me feel like I was in a weird or bad, maybe like I was bad at the game, or I'm a bad reviewer, and I was actually reaching out. I mean, Kyle, you really liked it, and you would, like you said, you disagreed with Seth's score. I think you would disagree with my score on Severed, right?
I mean, I would, but I think that your score is still fair and valid, and I think we had talked a little bit about that, obviously the Vita makes any game more enjoyable than it is on the Wii U. I kid. But no, I think... So, it's just because your hands are so weak, Donnie, you can't hold that Wii U.
Yeah, that was the other fun thing that happened this week. We had a YouTube commenter tell me, one of the things that I mentioned in my video review is that my hand cramped up, my left hand, because I was playing on the gamepad. And for those of you that don't know how Severed works, it is a touch-based game only. There's no button input at all. So you hold your Vita or your Wii U with your left hand, and you control the stick to move around. And then you use a stylus or your finger, and you swipe on the screen feverishly to get through the game. And holding the gamepad, it's not that it was heavy. It's like it's long and it's big. So, like if I push on the right side, and Jason, you can help me here. If you pushed on the right side of the gamepad, but you were holding the left side, like it's going to put some strain on your hand.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like moving your thumb on the thumbstick at the same time.
It's not so much the weight too, just like the shape of it and everything too, and like the center of that whole device. I mean, it's not. Yeah, I mean, it's rather big for a handheld, So it's not gonna. I don't know. I agree that the positioning would be kind of weird. I don't know.
So we had our first, what I would call our first negative YouTube comment, which means we've made it, guys. We've done it. We've absolutely done it. We have conquered the internet. Where my review done quick had somebody come out and said, you must be really weak because my 10-year-old daughter can hold the gamepad with one hand. So I really wanted to engage, but that's not good. Nobody likes it. Nobody wins when you do that.
Right,
so I thanked him for talking to us, and I gave him my thoughts. I do want to say I do think my review. I wonder how much my review may have been impacted by the fact that I more or less beat Severed in one day. Like, I played a little bit on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? No, Tuesday. And then I played like 5 hours of my playthrough on Wednesday or Thursday, the next day. And I played like all through the night. So I wonder how much that had something to do with my hand and the fact that I didn't play. Now, I did say, I mentioned in my review, I feel like the game is suited for a mobile device. Like, and when I mean that is, one, holding it for sure, but that's not necessarily what I'm going at with this. The game, the way it's structured, it almost, it's really good for like pick up and play. Like if you're in the middle of a dungeon, you can pick up, you can explore a couple corridors, explore a couple rooms, and then save it and then come back. I don't know if it's necessarily meant for sit down for 5 hours and just beat the game. Would you agree with that, Kyle?
Well, I beat it really quickly as well. It's not a long game. I mean, again, another game, oddly enough, that I got.
It took me
for.
7 hours and like 15 minutes to beat it, and from what I like looked online, apparently that's a little longer than most.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play it all in one sitting, and I definitely went back and ground out a couple things to get the platinum. But I think I got it on I bought it on the Tuesday it came out, and I think I had the platinum by Sunday. So it's not like it took me super long either. I think, though, that it's, and we've talked about this a little bit, it's a really sad game.
It is sad.
Like,
it's kind of dreary.
The plot is just depressing. And I think that, you know, like I said, I enjoyed it more than you did. I don't think I would score it significantly higher than you did. I probably would have given it like an 8. But
it makes me feel better.
You know, so it's not like I thought it was like a 9.5. It's not my top 5 games of the year or anything like that. I just really enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was a different look at a dungeon crawler. I think it showed a different way that you could potentially get games that are a little more hardcore or telling a little more about interesting story on devices that are typically looked at being as a little more casual. Obviously not the Wii U and the Vita, but on phones and tablets and things like that. So, you know, and part of me is just, I like Drinkbox Studios. Obviously Guacamelee is great, but it was a different game, and it wasn't a really safe game for them to make. And you know, this game was supposed to come out like 2 years ago initially, and they got feedback and kept, you know, improving on it. And, you know, for me, I just like the fact that they had this idea of what they wanted to create, and they stuck with it. And in the end, you know, I thought it was an enjoyable experience. I'm glad I played it. I would recommend it to other people. But you're right. I mean, it's not the best game ever. It's not a perfect game by any means. I think I just enjoyed my time with it a little more than you did.
It's coming out on 3DS, I believe, next week. They haven't announced the date, but it just came out on 3DS in Europe, and you got to think that, you know, the turnaround time for the States can't be that far. I'm very interested in seeing it and playing it on 3DS. I'm going to buy the game for 3DS, and I'm going to give it another go. And I'm going to see if that does anything to change my opinion. Because, again, it just feels odd to be like, everybody's like, this game's amazing, and I'm over here, and I'm like, no, it's not. So, for anybody that's thinking about getting it on Wii U or 3DS, because this is the first time this game has hit Nintendo platforms.
Dead console. Don't do it.
That's right. Not even shipping anymore.
RIP.
You too. What I really didn't like about Severed the most, and I didn't really put this in my written review so much because I honestly kind of felt like it was trivial, but it really weighed on me as I kept playing it. Kyle, I really hated walking around that game. And that's kind of what you do almost the entire time. It's like the worst part of the game, for me at least, was walking around. I didn't like that I couldn't use another stick to look up or look down or look left or look right. Jason, if you've never played it, this game, it's not on rails in the sense that you don't control moving, but it's on rails that you can't like really look around the environment. Like you just kind of look forward. Okay. And you can look forward to the left and look forward to the right. You can turn, but you're constantly just moving forward. And to me, that kind of felt like I was on rails. Like I was like, I want to look at the sky and what's above me, and I want to check out the ground and really investigate this plant. You really can't. You don't have this option. Like it's honestly, you just, you know, everything is in, quadrants as opposed to like a circle. You can't really 360 around as much as you can just kind of put your point of view in front of you, to the left of you, behind you, or to the right of you. And that was the thing that really kind of dawned on me. Maybe a couple hours in, like right once I got through the first temple, I was like, man, I wish it would have been better if it was like a PC adventure game where you could control your viewpoint and your, you know, move around and really check things out. Did that bother you at all, Kyle?
Nope, not at all. And I think part of the reason is that is what the game is meant to be, And I guess for me, I kind of, oh man, I'm trying to think of a good parallel.
But the art is so pretty.
Oh, I agree. The art is really pretty, but
that's why I want to look around. I want to stop and smell the roses.
Right, and I think part of it is like saying that, oh, they didn't design this game in the way that I wanted to play it, which is fine. That's totally okay and valid. But they had a very clear idea of what they wanted to do, and that's what they delivered on. I don't think they I mean, maybe they did that because they had to do that, or the constraints of the systems that they were working with made them do that. But I feel much more that it was like a game design decision that they made, that this is the experience we want to create. We want it to be this way. And that doesn't jive with you. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
It also felt kind of old.
Yep, absolutely.
I hadn't played a game that did that in, man, it feels like so. I mean, that felt like a SNES type of thing. Like that felt really, really old. Like I think that maybe that had more to do with it than the fact that I didn't like it. Is that I hadn't seen something like that. I mean, it felt like an old PC game, like original Duke Nukem, style of movement, where I'm so used to being able to have this dual stick control to do whatever it is I want to do, and it didn't appear like that was the case. But that's enough for me, man. That's what I've been doing this week. Jason, how's your week been going?
My week's actually been pretty one track for once. I mean, besides like every once, like I actually didn't play a lot of games during like the evening hours, except I think every once in a while Lucas is like, "Oh, awesome nuts," and then I can't say no, so we do that. But really, the main game I've been focused on has been Ocarina of Time on the 3DS. Because I finally, one day I was like, I'm tired of watering flowers and trying to build bridges in Animal Crossing. I need to finish this game. So when I had started playing, I think I was at, I hadn't even gotten to the Forest Temple yet as young Link. So it was before that. And as of today, which was like last week, and as of today, I just saved the 7th stage, so I'm at.
So you're on your way.
Yeah, I'm right at the end. I'm actually right at the end. Spoilers if someone hasn't somehow played this yet. Ganon had showed up.
Seth hasn't played it
and
yet.
Stole Zelda, and so building up to that final confrontation. So people always be like, "Oh, you've never played Ocarina of Time before?" And I'm like, "Well, technically, no. I never played it start to finish. I didn't own. My brothers had a Nintendo 64. I lived with my mom. I have 2 half brothers that lived with my dad. So I'd go and we'd play that every once in a while. So I had played bits and pieces and had seen gameplay. And then my buddy had it. He's like, "Oh, you got to at least see the ending." So he gave me his 64 to play, and he had everything unlocked. He had the big round sword. I think he had all the hearts. He had everything. So I just played through the last section and fought Ganon and had done all that. So I'm very familiar with the storyline and everything, but I haven't experienced it myself yet. So
now, did you beat Link Between Worlds?
I did. Yep.
You beat the whole thing.
Yep.
So we've had this debate, you, me, and Kevin, now that Seth owns a 3DS, where I constantly tell Seth Ocarina of Time 3D should be the first Zelda game he plays. Do you agree or disagree with that? Now that you're almost done.
I don't think Link, for me, I really like Link Between Worlds so much because it's such a callback and a reimagining of Link to the Past. So if you haven't played that, I don't think it has quite the same. I mean, it's still going to appeal because it's still a great game, but I think there's more there. Because for me playing that, I was like, oh, this is all this music from Link to the Past, but remixed and remastered. It's cool, and it's it's the same overworld. It's very much the same but different. So that's why that kind of holds a special place for me. But I think, Ocarina of Time is much more of a main Zelda game. It's much one of the stalwarts of the Zelda experience.
I just think on 3DS, specifically on 3DS, that portable console, to be able to walk around with a game like that in your pocket is pretty amazing.
When I've had downtime at work, I just open it up do a couple dungeons, do some this, and
I was playing, I was like, man, I'm walking around in a 3D Zelda game on a thing that fits in my pocket, and it looks beautiful, and it's got 3D graphics. This is incredible. That's the only thing for me. I was just really impressed with it.
I have noticed I've had to turn the 3D off during longer sessions, because after a while, starts to give me a little pain, a little headache from it. But
Oh, really?
I think just because staring at the screen, and plus for mine, it must be sometimes the way I play. It likes to wig out, and I get like the double image stuff, which really makes your eyes hurt until it like refocuses, and you're like, oh, there we go, now I can see the image again. And I've tried recalibrating my 3DS a couple times, and it gets better, but then I think so. I usually just clean the like the little sensor off again, and that seems to be part of the issue. I don't know, but I don't know. I enjoy the game. I don't know if it's going to be my for many people, it's like that's their premier Zelda game. I don't know if that's it for me or not. It's got a lot of cool story elements, and it's just it's got a really cool story overall. But like, I am not a fan of the Skullachas or Skullathas, whatever the heck.
Yeah,
I am not.
I don't know how to.
I am not a fan of that crap. Like,
I never did it.
I've gotten like 60 of them, or over 60 of them, so at least I've gotten the heart piece out of it.
I think I got the wallet out of it.
Like, if you're not using a guide or something like that, I don't know how you'd ever find half of the stuff that's in that game. Like, that's my.
I mean, stuff like that's only for people that just love the world so much they want to spend extra time in it.
That's my big grief for it. It's like, I don't know how you'd find a lot of these things if you didn't know to look it up, without the internet. And even you still like, I mean, yeah, that's in Wind Waker a bit too, but like same thing with like Twilight Princess. It's like go around and find all these.
Yeah, I didn't do any of that bug stuff.
It's like, whatever, but.
I'm not really into the collection stuff of Zelda.
I mean, so I've gotten like, I did get the bigger on sword. I've got like 18 hearts right now. And I've got like some other, I can't remember, I did everything else. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm, content to finish it off. And my brother let me borrow Majora's Mask. So I've never played that. I've played it, but I mean, I've never played it more than like 30 minutes. I've never experienced that whole game. So. Kind of
my least favorite Zelda game of all time.
I have a feeling it's going to be like that for me too, but I at least want to say I've played it, and I figure now is the best time. I mean, I don't know how much.
Get a guide.
Well, get a guide. ZeldaDungeon.net. That's where it's at.
There you go. Try. I mean, definitely with Majora's Mask. I needed it. I got the Majora's Mask special edition, the 3DS XL, and my son. No, I sent that one. That's the one I sent to Seth, and I got the game that came with it. And I played it on 64, and I remember how hard it was and how much I didn't like it. So the second time around on 3DS, I was like, I'm going to get a guide, and I'm going to beat this game. And I got through like 3 temples, and I was like, nope, still don't like it. I really don't like this game. I'm going to sell this game, and I'm eventually going to sell this unit. All right.
So, after this, that means after I play Majora's Mask, I've played every console release of Zelda except Skyward Sword, and that's probably going to be the one I'm not going to be able to play for a bit because I don't want to have to. I mean, I have to. I can get the game for $20, but I'd have to get. I'd probably buy the refurbished motion controllers from Nintendo because mine are some cheap Chinese knockoffs that just do not like especially on my the.
You should have got the Nyko, man.
The Wiimote's not too bad, but the thumbstick on the nunchuck is absolutely horrendous. Like, when I was trying to play Twilight Princess before the HD remake came out, it was like all or if you trying to guide opponent on that thing, it was like all or nothing. You're going from the left side of the screen to the right. It was terrible. Like, if I even made it to like those bridge duels, forget about it. It would have been impossible. So
I do wish they would have let you play with a controller. I think Skyward Sword might be the best HD remaster Zelda of all time. Like, whenever they remaster, they will, because it's the origin story. I don't know if it'll be on NX or not, but I mean, they're already showing the pattern that they remaster all of their Zeldas. When they do, because if you ever boot it up, if you ever give it a go, the art in Skyward Sword is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a watercolor painting. It is beautiful. Even on SD, I'll never forget, I played it like 2 years ago, and my wife was watching me like fly around on this bird in the clouds with Zelda, and she was like, that is gorgeous, and she doesn't even care about video games. And it's like on a Wii, in SD mode.
Yeah.
So whenever they get around to remastering it, that should be pretty epic. But I also am not a huge fan of Skyward Sword either, so don't rush to get over there.
I feel like I just need to play it out of principle at this point, but I'm also sadly I am at the point now where I'm very hesitant to like. don't get me wrong. I'm not going to get rid of my Wii U probably ever. It's our Netflix machine because we have a Chromecast, but my wife can just go, I just pick up this controller and I touch the buttons I want and it works. While our Chromecast sometimes just doesn't like to see our internet connection, and I have to unplug we have a power line extender up in the living room. I have to unplug it, and then it's like, I'm going to use your internet now. But it's just a pain in the butt. While with the Wii U, she can just use it, and it's easy. So it'll probably serve that purpose. But otherwise, I'm like, I just don't feel like buying a game for it anymore.
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've thought about trading in my Wii U, but at this point, I'm so invested.
Right.
I've got 2 boxes of games. I mean, I could trade it in probably at GameStop. Probably get even with the Wii U, I don't know what you traded the console in. It's probably like $75. I bet I could get $300 or $400 in trading credit out of it. And until I know more about possible backwards compatibility or ports, I can't do it because if for no other reason than this, keep it as simple as possible. The Wii U is the best Zelda machine that has ever been made.
Yeah, between the Wii U and the 3DS, you can play almost every dang Zelda there is, except, I think you just about.
As I say, I think you can. I don't know one that you can.
Because they have the Oracle's games, the Minish Caps on there.
Yep.
And now since they just did,
you got the HD remasters.
They did
of
what
the
Spirit
Tracks?
Is Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks on the Wii U Virtual Console?
I think only one of them is.
I think just Spirit Tracks. So if we get,
but
Phantom
the other
Hourglass,
one will probably come.
Unless you want to play the Philips games, those great CDI titles.
Oh no! I actually, you know what? I actually did play Link's Crossbow Training about 2 weeks ago.
Oh gosh!
I booted it up for my son. Showed him how to do it.
Did he like it?
Nah, not really. He played it for 30 minutes. He was like, "Let's. I want to play Mario Maker now." So.
Good boy.
Spoiled.
So, other than the Zelda experience, let's face it, you and I both felt the same after our Twilight Princess adventure. We're like, Zelda, no more. I need to get away from Zelda. And now I'm like, okay, it kind of feels good to be back a little bit.
I'm feeling that itch, too.
I feel like, though, with the using the Bigoron sword, though, really makes that game broken because you just destroy normal enemies and things like that, but... It's been...
I got the Big Goron sword my first time through on the 64. When I played it last year and I went through it again, I didn't even try. I was like, nope, I'm just gonna play the Master Sword.
There you go. It's fun. And now it's like it just makes me playing this. So it just makes me more excited for Breath of the Wild because you got the Temple of Time there, and then speculating like, is this the it's the same? It looks just like it's got to be the same Temple of Time, but where all the timeline crap and just so much. So. I don't know, I might take a slight diversion before I hit Majora's Mask. Since I have the SteamWorld games to look forward to, I might jump into those because I had SteamWorld Dig and I had made a pretty good chunk of progress on it, but then I had to reformat my computer and I lost all my saves. So wasn't really looking forward to jumping into that again on the PC. But now that I have it on 3DS, new venue,
I love that game.
New way to start. So. It's been just a lot of Zelda, so looking forward to finally knocking that off the list and moving forward.
Did you ever get around to Dungeon of Shadows in Twilight Princess?
Did you ever do that? I did. I think I got through it. I did the first 2 sections. So what you first have 10 floors.
I've never done it. I never even walked in.
Yeah, I did it because that's when you're just Wolf Link, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, or that's what the amiibo functionality unlocks, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
yes.
Yeah, you're just Wolf Link inside of it, and then you see how far you can get. So I've done it because you get through. It's just like that one dungeon in the desert. You go through and you get to fight enemies, and you go to the next floor down, and eventually you get to a stopping point, and it kicks you out. And then the next time you go in, you can get further. So I did it the first. I think there's 3 sections, so I've completed the first 2, and then the next 3 is I don't know if it's 50 or 30 or however many it is, but
okay. I've got to do that before Breath of the Wild, so I can walk around with the Wolf Link.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
All right. Well, that wraps up our weekly updates.
Now that we've lost Kyle,
have we?
No, I'm here.
Just for all this Nintendo stuff.
Yeah. I just really disappointed because you guys always leave out the best Zelda and never talk about it, but that's fine.
Kyle's over here is like, what the hell is a Wolf Link?
No, hey, I still have that Wolf Link amiibo. I got that guy.
Dude, that is an awesome. That's my favorite amiibo. So what's your favorite Zelda, Kyle?
Oh, Link to the Past, without a doubt.
Okay.
I am still playing that technically.
Yeah, I mean that works.
But I have a feeling I want to buy that on Virtual Console on the 3DS and play it there. But then I'm like, but I'm so far on the Wii U.
I am playing it on 3DS every now and again. It's better on 3DS. Everything's better on 3DS. I'm more and more and more and more. You know what? We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yep.
Pause. All right, folks. So let's hop into some messages.
Message for you, sir.
Our first question this week comes from Mrs. Coach Mo. Rounding out our new weekly topic is the Wife's Corner. And she asks, what moment or game made you realize you were going to be a gamer for life? And would your spouse know that moment? Her answer is, the moment for her was the night Mo came home late after a football game. He drove an hour to buy a game called Assassin's Creed. He played it all weekend, and then I found out why. To connect with a kid. That connection changed his life and gave a student a teacher they could talk to. That was the moment we became gamers. So that is a touching story from Coach Mo, who is possibly out there coaching football even now.
That's right.
So wish him the best of luck. Hopefully they win. Got an answer for us, Jason?
I mean, I have an answer, but it's not going to be your touching, uplifting, heartwarming Coach Mo moment here. I can't think of any single event or game where I was like, I'm going to do this forever. All I can think is probably my first experience was playing Mario Brothers back in the day, and it's like, video games are awesome. And that's all I needed. And I just always, from that point, it's something I always enjoyed doing. And, you had friends that, grew out of it, or, your parents were kind of into, like my dad would play NBA Jam with me and some other games, but he played NES, but, as consoles and stuff, evolved, that's beyond him. But I knew, I'm going to be playing this stuff with my kids. I'm going to be playing this stuff with my grandkids, That's just what I always imagined, just because I just, enjoyed the technology and enjoyed the entertainment. So I don't think I can't think of any one specific event that did it, but I could say, I guess, the whole getting able to the whole concept and experiencing online multiplayer for the first time. I think for me that was a huge moment, changing in my whole scope of video games, and wait, I can be playing stuff with people from all over the world. What voodoo magic is this? But no other event like that. My wife definitely didn't experience it because she wasn't in the picture yet, unfortunately. So
okay, Kyle, what moment in your life made you a gamer, and would your wife be able to recognize it?
Would my wife be able to recognize it? No, because most of them she has not been around for. And I've actually had a few, because I'm someone who I've always been a gamer, but my commitment to gaming has really ebbed and flowed throughout my life. But so I have those few moments. I remember the first time I ever played Tetris on Game Boy. When I just think about the moments that really cement in my mind, that was one of them. Chrono Trigger was one that really got me, and I've talked about it before. That was a game that really got me playing games for a long time, recognizing that games were more than just playing bad dudes and games like that. So, so Chrono Trigger, just that experience, seeing that there was a story, actually starting to care about characters in a game. So that was a big one for me. In college, GoldenEye was huge because I'm old, so that was college for me. But playing GoldenEye with my friends then was a big deal, and I still remember our late nights while other people were out partying. I was really lame, so I was sitting in my residence hall room playing GoldenEye with my friends. So that was a big one. And then, I'm on PlayStation Island. But another big actual moment for me was when I played Gears of War on 360. And I know now, going back and looking at it, it doesn't look that great anymore in comparison. But at the time, I was just like, man, this game looks incredible. Yeah,
I'd completely disagree with you. I've played it. I still think it looks.
Oh, does
great.
it?
I mean, it looks aged, but it was so different.
Yeah,
I put it that way. I still like it.
Yeah, and I got rid of my 360. I haven't booted it up. That's just from what other people have told me, is that it doesn't look as good as we remember it looking. But man, I remember when I booted that game up and played it, I had gotten a 360 because some people I worked with were were gamers and they were playing on 360. So I was like, well, okay, I'll jump in and do this. So I'd gotten one. And I just remember booting that game up for the first time, and I was like, this thing looks incredible. I was just blown away. So that one actually still really sticks with me too. Was playing the first Gears of War. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely been those moments that stick out to me or kind of bring me back, if you would, where maybe I'm dabbling and not playing as much, and then they kind of wrap me back in. But yeah, I mean, my wife wasn't in the picture for any of those, so no, she really wouldn't know any of them. I mean, our gaming time is we play Lego Harry Potter on the Wii, so we do that a lot together. I'm really gonna try to get her to transition to getting the Harry Potter collection on PS4 when that comes out in October. Because, man, that is really kind of frustrating playing that on Wii sometimes. But, yeah, and then we'll play some mobile games and stuff like that together. But she's not a huge gamer, so she appreciates that I enjoy games, but she also, I think, sometimes doesn't totally understand. So,
cool. For me, there are a few, so I'll share a couple stories. Most notably, when I was placed with my foster family, foster parents, they were really into gaming, and I mean I loved gaming always, like since a little kid, but they were really into gaming. And I remember just hanging out, like sitting on the living room floor with my foster dad and brothers and sisters. It was a big family, like 6 brothers and sisters, and like every weekend, especially Sunday, like this was like his Sunday ritual. Every Sunday, like he'd wake up in the morning, he'd go sit on the couch, he'd play video games from like 8 to like 3 in the afternoon. And one of the moments when at least for me, I realized, man, I am really into gaming. He was a huge NASCAR fan. You guys remember like the NASCAR games on like Nintendo 64 and like the original PlayStation? He used to always do those races, and he'd do the races, and they had like shorter races. It's like 10-lap Talladegas. And I used to make fun of him, like, man, this is not racing. Racing, you got to go like 200 laps, man. So one day, I kid you not, he and I set it up to where we were going to do a 200-lap race.
Oh, jeez.
Just like they do in real life. And we sat down on the floor and did 200 laps of NASCAR or whatever on N64, and it took hours. And like we had pit stops, and we were way into it. And I was like, man, I must be really into gaming if I could sit here and drive in circles over and over
I've experienced that as well, buddy and I.
Have you?
It was on the Genesis. It was like Mario Andretti's something racing, and it had 3. You had your stock car, you had your drift track, your slick track racing cars, and then you had something else. And we did like the full like whatever lap. It took us like 2 hours, and it was just horrible. It was a horrible experience.
Another one that comes to mind, a few years later, I was hanging out with my cousin, my actual real cousin. I reconnected with my father at the time, and I was hanging out with my cousin. He's a couple years younger than me, but we're within 6 years of each other. And I remember we stayed up one night, and we're playing NWO WCW Revenge. Yes. And we were going for the tag team titles, and for some reason, I can't even explain why we wanted to do this, but for some reason, we wanted to do 100 450 splashes by Juventud Guerrero in a match. So we just sat there for hours, just beating the snot out of whoever we were, Arn Anderson or whatnot, and until we got specials and just constantly did Juventud Guerrero 450 splashes. Kyle, do you know who Juventud is?
I have no idea what you're
I was thinking you have no idea, because Jason's like, yes.
This is back when I actually paid attention to wrestling.
Juventud Guerrero would get on the turnbuckle, he would jump off, he would do a complete front flip, and then another half turn to do a splash on the opponent in the ring. So me and my cousin we'd both be Juventud Guerrero, we'd both pick the same player, and we would both just constantly do it over and over and over again, because we just thought it was funny and we thought it was cool. In terms of my wife, she knew I was a gamer when we met in high school. The moment that I think she realized that this was a little bit more than just that boyfriend that likes to play video games is when I started hunting down blogs that were giving away tickets to the Wii U experience here in Atlanta. about 6 months before the Wii U came out, Nintendo was going on tour around major cities to let, they were having like this event at night where you could come, and they just had a bunch of games on display. It was like a little E3 thing where they brought all the games from E3 just on the road. And I couldn't get a ticket because they weren't selling them. Like, they were just giving, it was all promotional. So I found this lady that had like a cooking site, and for some odd reason, she got one of these codes, and I submitted a recipe of my mom's for one of these things. I think I may have been the only person that submitted one, and she gave it to me. And me and my wife went up to at the time we lived south of Atlanta. We went up to Atlanta to play the Wii U. I think with our real estate agent at the time, because we were looking for a house, and our real estate agent just thought it was cool. So we invited her along, and we went up there, and we got a little badge. We got to take pictures with Mario and Luigi, and I played the Wii U for the first time. We played Just Dance, and we played The Wonderful 101, and we played Mario and Zombie U, and that was when she famously told me, "All right, Donnie, you can buy one of these things." I had a lot of fun with it, and so that's when, it's not Mo's story, but that's my wife's story. That's probably when she was like, "My husband is a total geek." So, all right, next question. Kevin writes in. Yes, Kevin, who ditched the podcast, wrote a question into the. He says he's been getting more into indie titles lately. What indie title are you looking forward to trying? It could already be released or not, and why? So I'll start with this one. First and foremost, this week it was announced that Oceanhorn is coming to Vita, and that made my heart so full because I want to play Oceanhorn. It's a Zelda knockoff. We talked about it last week in podcast, but I have become more of a portable gamer, and I want to play it on a portable device, and I've got a Vita, so that made me super, super excited. The other one that I'm looking forward to is Yooka-Laylee, which is still coming in 2017. So, Kyle, got any indie titles on your horizon?
Man, I wish I would have known about this question ahead of time. I probably could have looked and known, but I didn't. I think actually this week, probably by when this posts, Darkest Dungeon is coming out on PS4 and Vita, and I'm definitely looking at picking that up and excited about that one. And there's another game. Sometimes I struggle with whether this is a quote-unquote indie title because it is being published by NIS, which is actually a pretty big publisher, but a lot of people in the US aren't aware of them. But they have another Vita game coming called Yamawari Night Alone coming out this October.
Yeah, I'm going to say that classifies as an indie game.
Okay. I figured it would be okay. But that's another game that I'm actually really looking forward to. It looks really interesting. I'm a big fan of smaller titles because I like games that I can finish, quickly or in less time because I don't have a lot of time, and I really like, the unique take that those types of games tend to deliver. So I'm a big fan of them, and I know that it seems like hopefully Seth and I have been rubbing off on Kevin a little bit.
This is where Jason goes, nothing. I got nothing on.
There's been a few. The one I can't think of the name. I mean, Yooka-Laylee. I'm glad you mentioned that because I forget about that game and I remember about that game. So that's definitely one that like again anything from the N64 I got to like experience but never like really play. So I'm very familiar with Banjo-Kazooie, but never really got to play it. So with a spiritual successor type thing, yeah, I can jump in and do that. There's a lot of games I've been interested in that are already out that I just never went back to. But Severed is one that I like Drinkbox is what they've done so far. So I'm looking for. I still want to check it out. I don't know when I will, but I mean that's on the list. I've always liked the Behemoth ever since Alien Hominid. So I mean, Castle Crashers was a great game. I still haven't. I was really excited for. Oh gosh, what's the one that was out right now where you can? It has co-op and it's the one character's name's Hattie. Oh gosh, why is it? I can't think of it, and I didn't really play it for much. They got a new one called Pit People coming out that I just like their art style of everything. But beyond that, I don't know. Again, another game I don't know when I'll ever play it. Below. that was shown, at the reveal of the Xbox at that E3 how many years ago, and that game still hasn't happened yet because I love, I believe it's Capybara Games makes it.
Cabby.
I love, still love Sword and Sorcery. Like, that game is awesome, and I love the music. I have the album on vinyl because I'm a cool hipster like that, and it's just a sweet like art style combined with a very simple game to play, but just had this really cool story to experience. And there's this other, there's one last one, and this is the one I couldn't think of the name of, and I think it's only coming out to PS4, and it looks like it's got like kind of this cool pixely, cell shaded art style, but it's kind of like Zelda, but you're a fox, like a humanoid fox character. I can't think of the name.
Yeah, what's the name of that game? I know exactly what you're talking about, though. Oh, crud.
But it looks really cool.
Why do you guys think of that one? That indie game that I was trying to remember earlier is called Outland.
Oh, okay.
Mix between Headlander and
I can see how that happened. So, it'll come to Kyle. Kyle, I have faith Kyle will discover the name of this game before the end of the show. But until that time, those are my picks.
And actually,
Jason,
go ahead, Donnie.
You actually jogged my memory. There was a game that PlayStation showed on the E3 stage 2 years ago that I got like really excited for. It may have already released. Maybe I didn't know, but it was like this. It was like this prehistoric world. Maybe it reminded me of The Time Machine. You guys seen that movie, The Time Machine?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so that's not going to help you guys at all. So you're in this forest, and it may even be called the forest. Like, you were in this forest, and there were like these monsters that could run up the trees and stuff, and it was like really lush and it was really green. And The Time Machine's this old movie from the 90s that has a time machine and stuff, and they kind of go back in time to this prehistoric world where there's monsters that can do this type of stuff. And it reminded me of that so much, and I don't remember the game.
Is that the one that has base building and stuff in it?
You might be right, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It was like first-person perspective from at least the player, like when they were running, and like it was on stage, and it got some time, like during one of their indie sizzle reels.
Yeah.
And I was like, this looks amazing, and I have never heard from it since.
I believe that is actually just called The Forest.
Actually, yeah, when I said that, I was like, maybe that's the name of the game.
Yeah.
It looked great, and I'd love to play it or hear more about it. I literally haven't heard a peep about it since then. It's been years.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything else about that either. But actually, two other games that I thought of while we were all talking. There's this game from Runic Games that has been shown at a couple events called Hob that's coming to PS4, and that is super high on my list, as is Supergiant Games' next game, Pyre. I'm a huge fan of Bastion and Transistor, so I'm really looking forward to Pyre when that comes out. Because I just really have loved everything else that they have done, so I'm excited about that. So,
Kyle, I have the game's name.
What's that?
Secret Legend.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yes.
PC Gamer has a little article about it, so maybe it's getting a PC port too. So if that's the case, I'm good.
See, I thought you were talking about the game called Seasons After Fall. That's the game I was thinking of.
Let me see if that's Seasons After Fall. Whoa, look at that one.
Sometimes I feel like Kyle just makes up games.
That's really a game. It really is.
That looks crazy.
That's what, because you were talking about like hand painted. So, didn't you say something about like a fox? And I was like, that's what I was thinking of.
Oh, well, there you go. And there's another one. All the Fox games.
Get a PS4.
And they're all better than Star Fox.
Unfortunately, that's true. All right, so with that, we will wrap up the mailbag. Don't forget to send us your questions. I'm going to call out the listenership. Hey, we see that you're downloading the episode. Hundreds and thousands of downloads here.
Millions.
And we don't get any questions. So give us a question. It didn't have to be gaming related. Any question you want to ask, you can reach us to it. You can reach out to us on Twitter at PSVG, Facebook.com/PlaySomeVideoGames, or you can email us at podcast@PlaySomeVideoGames.com. All right, our topic this week is this fall. It's our gaming lineups this fall. What we're excited about. How do we feel about this fall lineup? How do you feel about fall lineups in general? I really wanted this to kind of be a discussion. So and the reason I kind of came up with this topic and where I'm coming from, just to kind of lay some groundwork here, is I mentioned earlier this week in our chat when we were discussing that I feel like I'm kind of down on this fall just as a whole. It's not that there are not games I'm looking forward to. I am definitely looking forward to playing Forza next week. I'm looking forward to playing Gears, Pokemon. I'm very excited to play some games, but for me at least, it doesn't feel like this fall is living up to what I would expect a fall lineup to live up to, especially kind of midway through a hardware cycle. Like I kind of feel like this is where we should be really hitting that stride and things should be pumping out. And to me, it kind of feels like this is maybe a down year. So I want to hear from you guys what you think about this fall. Do you even think that having a big fall lineup is important anymore? That was another thing I thought of. Like, maybe having a huge fall isn't as important as having a very well-balanced calendar year. I know that I always look forward to playing video games in the fall because that's when it gets cold, especially like during the winter time. That's when I'm off for Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's like I like to sit down and play video games. A lot of those extra, especially exclusives, are missing. This year's big titles, we've got Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, Dishonored 2, Watch Dogs, we've got Elder Scrolls Remaster, the Bioshock Remaster, Skyrim Master, Titanfall 2, Gears, as I previously mentioned. A lot of things are just VR. Like, it really feels like this fall is VR. Like, a lot of, especially you're talking about exclusives, most of the exclusives are coming to VR. And then we've got Paper Mario Color Splash, Mario Maker on 3DS, Pokemon on 3DS, and then Sid Meier's Civilization. I want to make sure that game gets some credit because that is going to be a huge game. And then Forza Horizon 3, Dead Rising, and Gears over on Xbox. So just to kind of lay the groundwork there, I want to get your guys' opinions on what you think about this current year's fall lineups overall. How does this year stack up to years past? And do you think this is a problem, or do you just think it's a down year? Let's kick it to Jason first.
It'll be hard for me to compare it to too many past years besides what you've been nice enough to outline for us, because I'll be honest, I just don't remember. I don't remember too many of them, but I feel like fall is like the fall lineup is very much becomes like for many, especially with younger people, it's the holiday lineup. I mean, a lot of these releases are what you're going to get for Christmas and stuff like that. So for me, the fall release is what I always built the Christmas list off of. I don't know, with this, it's hard for me for this year because it's just such a dismal landscape for me. Because at least on the actual systems that I prefer to play on, there's just not a whole lot. There's not a lot of action going on. I mean, yeah, there's PC games coming out all the way all the time, but I really don't I don't buy many PC games anymore. If nothing else, I'm buying like remastered games and stuff I already own. That's like Kyle and I were talking when we were having our downtime. I mean, the game I played the most on my PC is a 4-year-old game. So that's kind of where I'm at here. But I mean, what really sticks out to me, I guess the best November release that for myself personally, that happened was was that 2014? Which one was? Yeah, 2014, because that's when we got Super Smash Brothers, because I was so pumped for that game. And I remember I told my wife, I was like, I pre-ordered this game. This is like my favorite series ever. Deal with it. It's coming.
Bayonetta 2 came out that fall. So did NES Remix.
Oh.
Even that 2014 lineup, you had Valiant Hearts, Smash Bros, Drive Club, Peggle 2, Walking Dead Season 2, Bayonetta 2, Sunset Overdrive, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I mean, I do feel like this is a down year, and it could just be that. It could just be a down year.
I mean, we're getting some good stuff coming. I mean, Call of Duty is going to do well. I think Dishonored 2 is going to do well. I think Watch Dogs is going to do well. But Titanfall, I think all these sequels, it's the November of sequels. I think all those are going to do really well. I didn't get a chance to try Battlefield 1, so I don't know quite what that experience will be like. I mean, I'm really excited about Gears of War. I doubt I'm just not going to be in the position to pick it up, but I'm really intrigued with that crossplay between PC and Xbox.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed that the multiplayer doesn't quite work that way. It's all or nothing, or unless you do private lobbies. And I can understand why they got to keep it that way, but I was looking forward to the chance to play with some of the Xbox boys and throwing down online, because I've never been able to do that. I haven't played since the 360.
Are you excited about Color Splash?
I am. I've never played a Paper Mario, but again, I'm torn because it's like, this is $60 for the Wii U, or I could save $60 to get towards the NX. So,
yeah, I can understand
that's
that.
That's like my argument for anything that's coming out this year. It's like, I don't really want to, I could still be spending. I have some birthday money that I still have, but I've got like almost $100 of birthday money I could just put on anything. But I'm just like, no, I want to save it. And that's why I've been so critical waiting for the announcement too, because I just want to know if I can, should I stay or should I go?
Oh, it's coming.
So
it's coming, Lacey.
Otherwise, I would totally, like today, I did that crappy free game that you could get on Wii U for those gold coins. Like, well, I could get that 30% off for Mario Golf now. But
there's nothing they could do to make me download that junk. Kyle.
Yeah.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you, Don?
Hanging in there?
Good answer. Let's get some good answers now.
I want to post to you all the same stuff. However, I do want to ask you this, especially with PlayStation. As Jason mentioned, he's more PC and he's got the Wii U. Do you think the new hardware announcements and everything that we know that's coming? So like this fall, we've got the PS4 Pro or Slim. We know the PS4 Pro is coming. We've got Scorpio coming. We've got NX coming. We have PlayStation VR coming this fall and the NES Mini. Do you think any of that has anything to do with this lineup, or are you just loving this lineup?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming at some point we'll talk about games we're looking forward to this fall, so I won't necessarily jump into that right now. I will say, obviously, on the face value, I mean, without a doubt, Xbox has a far superior exclusive lineup compared to PlayStation this fall, and Gears is the one game that, if I was ever going to jump back and buy an Xbox One, Gears would be the game for that. A lot of good memories of that series. So, from that perspective, Xbox is clearly doing well. But I do think that fall in some ways has kind of become the time where, and whether, Sony has missed every fall since the PS4 released with what was supposed to be their major fall title. I mean, The Order missed, which probably was a good thing. So let's be honest. I mean, I like The Order, but it was...
I like The Order, too.
It was not a fall... I mean, it should not have been their fall game, and that missed. And then, obviously, Uncharted 4 missed, and now Horizon Zero Dawn missed this year. So they have missed, what was supposed to be their major fall game has missed every fall. So they really... I mean, they have a couple exclusives coming that I'm excited about. But they haven't had anything really major. And I think, part of the reason, I think, is there are a lot of third-party games. I mean, when we talk about, the games that are coming out and everything that is existing, I wouldn't be surprised if part of their reasoning is, like, almost every week from, early October to mid-October until the first week of December, there's pretty much some major game being released. Now, granted, a lot of those are sequels or sequels of sequels or sequels.
Let's say remasters.
Or remasters, exactly.
We got Bioshock, Skyrim, Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
Right?
We got the Ezio collection. Yep, absolutely.
And the Batman collection.
Yep, and the Batman collection is coming. And we have, for PS4, that Harry Potter collection coming. Don't forget that one. But
I don't know if you call Tomb Raider a remaster because it's not available on it yet, but I mean, it is a game that's already come out, and if somebody really wanted to play the game, I feel like they already have.
Well, but the thing is that is probably my number one anticipated game for the fall, because I don't own an Xbox or a PC, and so I haven't played it yet. And so for a lot of PS4 owners, that's kind of our big exclusive of the fall in some ways is, hey, we finally get to play this game that came out a year ago. Granted, there's some additional things to it. But, there is VR, and that's going to take up a lot of Sony's fall lineup. There's a lot of VR things coming out and a lot of things that they got going on there. And I think for them, from the Sony perspective, I feel like this is getting to the new normal. I had talked about in our chat the other day that from December to February, as long as no other release dates move, which they probably will.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
As long as no other release dates move.
They have like 7 games stacked on each other.
Yeah, there's like
in
8
3 weeks.
kind of major games coming out that are PS4 exclusives between December and the end of February. Now, I'm sure Sony wishes those were more this fall, but I think that there's still a lot to play if you are a PS4 owner, there's a lot of good third-party games for you to catch up on. If you're an Xbox One owner, there are some obviously excellent exclusives coming to you. Obviously, for Forza Horizon 3 is a fantastic game. You know, the early impressions that have happened for Gears of War 4, people are really, really impressed. Some are even saying it's probably the best Gears of War there's ever been. But, you know, there are a lot of third-party titles I'm still really excited about. So I'm not worried about my fall. I'm not worried about not having enough to play. But, you know, I'd be lying if I didn't say I wish there was one really big PS4 exclusive in there. And there's a couple towards the end, but I wouldn't call either of them big. So,
yeah, I know for me, and I don't want to sound overcritical, because there is one game that I'm buying for PS4, and that's Call of Duty. And when it comes to third-party games, I am purchasing the majority of them on PlayStation 4 due to the improved performance most of the games have. But outside of Call of Duty, I don't know if I'm booting up my PS4, or at least planning to boot the PS4 up anytime soon. There might be a game that's under my radar that I jump into that catches my attention, but at the surface, the big things, I'm playing the majority, if not all of that, either on Xbox One, Wii U, or 3DS, or Vita, even Vita. The PS4 is literally kind of taking a back seat. And I think the PS4, at least just in that realm, I think a lot of that just has to do with VR. I think they're really putting VR out there and giving it room to breathe and cultivate, but I'm just not interested in VR at all until it gets perfected. And VR perfected to me is no cords. Like, don't chain me to this box. I'm afraid I'm going to trip over it. My PS4 is going to fall off the shelf and break. Like, I've got a lot of fears about all that. It just seems like kind of messy. So I'm sitting that out until it gets better. But yeah, and then Xbox, like you said, they've got the good lineup. That's, you know, why I got mine, and I'm excited. I'm buying at least 3 of those exclusives. We'll just go ahead and jump into what you're looking forward to. So for me, I'm looking forward to Call of Duty, Gears, Forza. Forza in particular, I'm starting this next week, Tuesday. As it comes to me Tuesday, because I didn't get the special edition. I just got the regular game. Now, I have never played a Forza game. Ever! And I've pre-ordered a game. And I honestly never really do racing games. I haven't really been into racing games forever, but the hype that Nathan has pushed, that Q has pushed, that Ryan McCaffrey has pushed, that all the reviews have pushed, have made me believe in this game, and I'm going to play it. Now, I'm going to stream it, so for anybody that wants to laugh at how terrible I am at games, I'm going to stream that thing from the moment I turn it on, and you're going to see somebody that's never played Forza in their life play Forza Horizon 3 next week. I generally only buy like one racing game like a generation, not even a year, like a generation. And due to Sony not really having Gran Turismo anything, it looks like Forza is going to be that game for me. So I'm looking forward to that. I am getting Color Splash. I am currently anticipating putting that in the Christmas box and not playing it until Christmas. So I don't know. I'm still like on the fence about that. I don't know. Like it is. I have this yearning to give it a go because it looks really good. But I may sit on that one. And then Pokemon. Like, that is the big game for me. Like, I'm excited to play Pokemon. I think this year's Pokemon looks better than any Pokemon that's ever happened. Even if it's iterative on other versions, it does look greatly improved. Lacey, I know you're not buying a whole lot of games, man, but if you were, what are the games that you would seriously be considering?
I would say Titanfall 2, just because I had a lot of fun with Titanfall. It hasn't been installed on my PC for quite some time, but that was just I just remember being super pumped for that game, and you know, I'd like to see what they've done on that formula, build upon it, and improve it. Gears 4. I am interested in Color Splash. You know, I'm torn on Mario Maker on the 3DS. Just because I just
it's not going to be as good.
Experiences on the Wii U, but I like playing things on my 3DS now. I just feel like the pick up and play function of the handheld so much more right now. I can't think. There's not too much. Like, I'm not sure if, like, I feel like I should just. I haven't played a Pokemon game since Red, and I'm like, I don't know if I should. It's like I was on that, just on the outside of the more target age group, I feel like, and I'm like, it seems like that's just going to be like a huge release, and part of me is like, maybe I should just try one of them, but I'm like, I don't know. At the same time, like, a lot of the online communities I'm a part of are super pumped about that game.
As I say, I would tell you to get X or Y or Sapphire, but to be honest with you, it looks like this game is correcting all the things I didn't like about that one. So if I was going to push you to a new modern Pokemon,
So I mean, I honestly feel like, yeah,
it's got that battle mode. You're gonna get that online multiplayer, which I know you're a fan of. That those other
for
games
me,
don't have.
it's like, I've got this backlog. I mean, I probably will get something off of this list at some point. I do plan on getting the NES Mini if it isn't a gift for me, depending on how available it even is. I don't know what I'm assuming there's going to be plenty of stock, but these things happen. So these are all just little tidbits to tide me over until hopefully spring. I would love to say that I'm going to be able to get be an early adopter on NX, but I don't know if that's going to be the case or not, and I would be very sad if I'm not. But this is life. But it's disappointing because I don't it's hard because there's just not a lot of games right now that are getting me excited, just because I feel like my platforms aren't preferred. I know there's many people that are PC first players, and they're great with that, but I really feel like games as a whole are very much more console focused right now, which totally makes sense. And so it's weird going through that, because I've been, I was a console player gamer, and then I was like, PC, and then I went back to console, and now I've did the shift again, and it's weird jumping back and forth and being in different sides of things. But I feel like there's a lot of stuff I am missing out on, but there's so much I just haven't already experienced at the same time. But again, I think a lot of it too is the whole fear of missing out type of syndrome type thing. But I think there's a lot of good games here. I think there's a lot of good stuff to be had. Here's what I wanted to see though. I want Last Guardian to actually come out, and I hope it's actually good. I hope it's not a victim of its horrible development cycle.
There's no way a game goes in development like 10 years. I can only imagine it's been scrapped 5 or 6 different times.
How many times would you have to rebuild your graphics engine? Like, I didn't play Ico, but I love Shadow of the Colossus. That's why I still have a PS2. I don't know if I'll ever hook it up, but it's there. So if I wanted to play it, but that game was awesome.
Yeah, Shadow was pretty groundbreaking. Kyle, what's on your holiday gaming to-do list?
Surprisingly, a lot. So starting next week even, or this week, I guess, when this posts. So for those of you who don't know, FIFA 17 comes out on the 27th, and for a short period on the PlayStation Network, the Super Deluxe Edition, because we have to have more crazy names for things, the Super Deluxe Edition of FIFA 17, which is usually $99, was listed as $0 on the PSN. And I bought it at that point. I've not tried to download it yet, though, or preload it yet, so I have no doubts when I go to, it will say that I no longer own this item, or that it has been, that I didn't have to pay the proper amount for it. But it's still in my library. So we'll see. Maybe I'll be playing FIFA 17 this year. Probably not. I'm not counting on it, but who knows. But
Kyle's trying to rip off the company that he loves so much.
Well, they're a mistake, right? They're a mistake. But with Darkest Dungeon coming out next week, I do plan on picking that up probably for Vita. I have this really bad habit of there's a new wave of Lego Dimensions stuff coming out next week, and I'm not gonna lie, if there's a good Black Friday deal on Lego Dimensions stuff, I will probably pick this up. I really enjoy the Lego games, and I've hemmed and hawed and thought a lot about picking up Lego Dimensions, and I just never have. But I'm worried if I do it, that will be like the only thing that I will play. So I haven't done it yet, but that's definitely a possibility. But anyway, so Darkest Dungeon, I'm definitely planning on picking that up next week when that comes out. And then actually starting in October, things get kind of messy for me, which everyone feel bad for me because this is a horrible problem to have. My two most anticipated games of the fall come out within just a couple days of each other. So Mafia 3 comes out on Friday, October 7th. I'm actually really looking forward to this game. I've never played. I didn't play Mafia 1 or 2. But everything they're doing with this game I just find really intriguing, and I've been watching videos and seeing some commentaries, and I'm really excited for this game. I haven't pre-ordered or anything like that, but it's definitely a game I'm looking forward to. So that comes out on Friday, the 7th. The following Tuesday comes probably my second most anticipated game, which is Rise of the Tomb Raider, finally coming out for PS4. I loved the Tomb Raider reboot. It was something I played on last gen, and then when the definitive edition came out, I played it again on PS4 because I really enjoyed that game. So this is a game that honestly has been kind of killing me that I haven't been able to play it yet, so I'm really looking forward to picking that up. Also on that date, Dragon Quest Builders comes out. Now, I enjoy Minecraft. I find it pretty fun. But the one thing I didn't always like about Minecraft is I wanted a little more direction. And Dragon Quest Builders seems to fix that problem, where you can go and you can build stuff if you want to, but they also have a very specific quest storyline that's happening in the game. So you can talk to the people in your little village, go do these quests for them, come back and build the things that they're looking for you to build. So there's a really specific story that's going along with this game while you play it. And I really, when this game was first announced, I was like, well, this seems not very cool. But the more I've been reading about it, and the more I've been looking at it, and the more gameplay I've seen, I'm actually getting pretty jazzed about this. Plus, it's coming out for Vita. So this is something that I will probably pick up and will likely be my Vita game for most of the rest of the fall, would be Dragon Quest Builders. Well, you know, Mafia 3 open world game that's probably going to take a whole bunch of time. Then we have Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is I will probably go for the Platinum for if I can. 2 days later, so now we're on to October 13th, PSVR comes out, which I have pre-ordered. So, really...
Are you still really excited about PSVR?
Well, let me put it this way. I'm excited about PSVR, but I also have very low expectations in the sense of, I know I'm getting at the ground floor. This is probably going to be a whole bunch of really small experiences. I'm not expecting to play epic AAA, 10, 15, 20-hour games. I'm expecting to play, hey, here's this pretty cool proof of concept we have that's, maybe only 15 minutes up to a couple hours. And this is something that I think the tech has some cool possibilities. I'm excited to see what those possibilities are. But I'm also recognize the fact that, there's only going to be so many things that there really isn't going to be a quote-unquote killer app for this for some time. But I am excited to see about what are they looking for, what are they investigating, and I'm actually really excited that it is coming with a demo disc that includes 18 different experiences, which is pretty cool. So I'm excited to check it out, see what it has to offer, but I'm also realistic in the sense that, I'm going to be likely investing a good chunk of money that the first quote-unquote real experience or the first quote-unquote killer app for it, I probably won't expect or won't see for some time, and maybe not even until the second iteration of the hardware. But I recognize that, and I understand that, and this is just something that I'm kind of jazzed about. I think that there's a lot of possibilities with VR being the first real time that games have changed in quite a long time. If you listen to a lot of industry pundits and things like that right now, games haven't changed that much in the last 10 years. And I think this is going to be really, or even 15 years. This is going to be, I think, the first time for a real change in the way we play games and the types of games that we can potentially have. And I'm excited to be in the ground floor of that and just see what it's all about. I'm not expecting, the best stuff to be out even in the first year. But I do want to kind of see and be a part of that experience just to see where things are going. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
that's smart.
Yeah, so like I said, I know it's a big investment. I'm fortunate at the point that I'm at the point in my life where I feel like I could make that investment okay. But yeah, so that's going to be a bulk of what my fall gaming is wrapped up in kind of those things right there. I will then, there are some games that I'm kind of interested in coming in towards the end of October, but for the most part, my next big game then will be Call of Duty. I've played pretty much every Call of Duty since 3, so I plan to continue that trend. I had been off the boat for a while, but I'm definitely back on.
Dude, this one's going to be good. Yeah. I'm so excited for this one.
I'm really excited for it too, and honestly, I probably will pay the extra money and replay Call of Duty 4 again. Because it was a fun game. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time with it. I don't honestly know if I'll play it right away. I'm I've kind of gotten out of multiplayer Call of Duty, back during, the original Modern Warfare, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, all that time. I played hundreds and hundreds of hours of multiplayer, but I've kind of I'm not into that so much anymore, so I'll play the story, and I'll kind of just hold on to that Modern Warfare and probably play the story when I have some downtime, but I'm excited to play that, and then realistically for me after that, I'm kind of holding off until we get to early December. Like, obviously Watch Dogs 2 looks interesting, and there's the potential that Dishonored 2 could be good, but after that I'm holding out for Gravity Rush 2, and then we'll see, kind of what does The Last Guardian deliver for us. I was listening to last week's podcast, and they basically said that it's not going to be good. And for the most part, I tend to agree with them. I don't think this game it might be good. I don't think it's going to be great.
If it's any consolation, I feel the exact same way about Final Fantasy. I mean, just knowing how games are made and how people shuffle, and I mean, I don't know. Like, it's like when you have a bunch of bad ingredients, to expect your cake to be good is, a little unrealistic.
Right.
And I feel like the last guard of Final Fantasy have a bunch of bad ingredients.
Yeah. I mean, I am really excited about Gravity Rush 2, though. I'm really excited about that. I keep hoping. I played Gravity Rush on Vita, but I didn't quite finish it.
I played the first 3 chapters this week.
Yeah, and I keep meaning to go back to it, and I haven't yet. I keep hoping that they're going to have some deal, like that if you pre-order Gravity Rush 2, you can get the remaster of Gravity Rush on PS4 for free or super cheap, and that hasn't happened yet. But I keep hoping. I just keep holding out hope. But, yeah. So
I feel like Gravity Rush is getting delayed.
I think it might, too. I think that, Sony hasn't hit a release date.
At least until late December.
Yeah, they haven't hit a release date, and I don't even know how long. I feel like every game that they announce gets delayed. So it wouldn't surprise me if it gets delayed. It sounds like at Tokyo Game Show it was pretty solid, that it was showing really well, that it seemed like, because there have been some concerns with it from like E3 as far as it felt a bit clunky, but most people who've played it have said that it's come back pretty good. Last Guardian, on the other hand, a lot of the feedback that's coming back for that game has not been super positive from Tokyo Game Show. So that has me a little worried even this close to release. Granted, they can still fix some of those things, but
they have them both releasing the same day?
December
currently?
6th and December 2nd and December 6th. So Gravity Rush 2 is December 2nd, Last Guardian's December 6th. But yeah, and I mean the only game I'm really bummed out I'm missing this fall is definitely Gears. I'm not a racing guy, so Forza doesn't really do anything for me. Even if it was Gran Turismo, I wouldn't care. But I am definitely bummed that I'm missing out on Gears this fall. But sometimes that is the price you have to pay.
Isn't it sad that every time I hear Gravity Rush, in my head, I first picture the racing, the part
movie?
from Wreck-It Ralph with Sugar Rush.
Oh.
That's what pops into my head.
Well,
every time.
we could just call it Gravity Days because that's what it is in Japan. So if you would prefer, if that would make things easier for you, Jason, we'll just refer to it as Gravity Days.
You've just ruined it for me.
I made it better.
All right, folks. So let's head over for our weekly news.
This week in Play Some Video Game News.
We are on NX Watch. This announcement is imminent. It has to be.
I think we've been saying that every week.
That it cannot be. It's gotta be soon.
Well,
I
Jason,
feel like
eventually we'll be right with that. Eventually we'll be right.
within 2 weeks, it's gotta happen. All right. The latest rumor, and it is just a rumor, but it's a good rumor, is a drawing that is leaked from Foxconn. For those of you who don't know, Foxconn is this giant Taiwan conglomerate that builds everything. They build iPhones and laptops and iPads and all kinds of gaming hardware. They're usually the first people to leak, some employee or person that visits the factory. Somehow, every time they're building something, it gets leaked. Somebody takes a picture of something on an assembly line, and that gets leaked. So there was tons of reports earlier this week that Foxconn had either begun producing the NX or entered into the contract to begin producing. I believe the numbers I was reading was Nintendo has entered a contract for 9 to 10 million NXs a year. And then, so this drawing leaked of what the NX is. Have you guys seen it? I retweeted it. Kyle, did you see it?
I saw it, yeah.
I saw it, I think, when you shared it in the chat, but I didn't really get a chance to, like...
All right, so let me go over this. All right, so they show the NX controller, which looks exactly like we have been expecting it to look. It looks like a tablet with two little things on each side, one that has a stick and buttons, the other that has a stick and a D-pad. It then shows a performance module. Now, the original drawing was in Japanese. There is a translated version on NeoGAF, which we'll retweet as well. So if anybody wants to see what we're seeing, go to @PSVG. You can see it. All right, so this box, this performance module, and it looks like a box, like a GameCube, as Kyle previously hinted at. It apparently is about the size of a power brick, so it's going to be much smaller. It says that it's a performance module and that it improves performance. And it has a power plug that presumably connects to your controller, or your controller connects to it wirelessly. And the intention here is that the box connects to the TV, your portable NX connects to the box, you can play the NX on the TV, and then you can take your controller with you. So think about your Wii U, if you could take your gamepad with you and play things, except the NX controller is presumably more like a tablet and less like a Fisher-Price toy. And this really is not a surprise, because last year Nintendo made a patent of the performance box. Jason,
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you remember this, where they released a supplemental computing device patent where you had one box connects to the other box to make the first box more powerful. This is all coming on the heels that there was tons of reports that in Europe, Nintendo held a private meeting with retailers and distributors to showcase the NX to them. And then, who is it? The Ubisoft guy, right?
Yeah.
Is it Guillemot?
Yeah.
Guillemot?
Gimme.
I don't know how to pronounce his name. Eves came out and said that he loves the NX, that it's so
Ubisoft
Nintendo,
praising Nintendo.
and that it's a fantastic machine, I believe is what he said. And this week, the Pokemon CEO kind of let it slip. I guess not slip in the fact that we didn't know it, but he let it slip that he's probably the first person of rank with any association to Nintendo to officially go on record. He said Nintendo is changing how we think of the console and handheld markets. So, reaction time, especially Jason. My first reaction, the NX is going to cost more than I thought it was. What's your reaction?
I don't want it to. I don't...
If it's got some kind of box,
but what
man,
if
that
we
hooks to
get
the TV.
like options? What if you can get just the handheld?
What if you can buy the controller without the box?
Without the box!
Yeah, I could see that. I could see them sending you, hey, here's the NX Portable, it's $250, and if you want to plug it up to your TV, you're going to have to pay another $100, $150, for this extra box.
Yeah.
I could see them doing something like that. Nintendo loves
Right.
peripherals. If they introduce the box that actually does boost the performance, man, it better boost it to current PS4 levels or they're going to get raked over the coals. Like, this whole time I've been thinking the NX was a huge, powerful portable, and if they introduce another box that hooks to your TV, thus making it a console, with or without the portable, I hope those specs at least get it to base PS4 level, or they're going to be in a world of hurt. But all of this is coming out. If Foxconn is producing this thing, and these people have seen it, I don't care how many NDAs Nintendo makes people sign, they have to show it soon. We even had a developer. I retweeted an independent developer said he just signed an NDA for Nintendo to see the NX. So they're showing it, all kinds of rumors. The drums are beginning to pound. It looks like this thing is on the horizon. Kyle, do you have any thoughts on Nintendo NX?
I actually do have a few thoughts. Number one, do we think that this box, or do we think this just basically is doing upscaling, or what do we think the purpose of it is?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that the portable device cannot natively output a 1080p picture, and this little box gives it that juice, just like the PSVR little box splits the signal.
Right. So do we think that, or do we anticipate, because I feel like sometimes Nintendo does this, do we anticipate that they would ever have any games that you could only play?
I don't. Okay.
So then realistically, I don't see if it would matter if it puts it up to PlayStation 4 specs, because realistically, I don't think it's going to matter then. If it's in a situation where it's like, hey, the games that are on your portable device are going to be the same games you're playing on your TV. They'll just look a little nicer on your TV. Like, I think that's totally fine. I don't think there's any problem
If you
with
buy
that.
the box.
If you buy the box, right? And I think,
we're assuming the box is sold separately and not together.
right. And, you know, I could see Nintendo doing that. I do think for the average consumer, that might be a little confusing. I mean, I think you can get through it, but Nintendo clearly doesn't care about confusing
So that
people.
sounds really Nintendo.
So, right. They clearly don't care about that. But, you know, honestly, like, if this is what it does and that's what it is, and if it's powerful enough, this, even though 2 weeks ago I said I was less interested, this might make me more interested again in getting an NX.
So to reply to you, it sounds like a Super Vita.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's kind of why I'm excited about it.
I'm completely on board with that. Now, so the reason I said that it has to be at this level, it's not because I'm not interested. I'm buying this. I will be a day one adopter. As soon as it goes on pre-order, I'm getting one. I'm already sold. This thing is a portable Nintendo machine that can run a game that's playable on Wii U. I'm down. Hook, line, and sinker. You got me. Now, the reason I said that is if they pitch this, if this drawing's true, now this is all conjecture, so let me reiterate that. This is not confirmed, this is rumor. This drawing could be somebody that just made it that went viral. I don't know. So if this is true, if this box, let's say it's expensive, let's say it is as expensive as the Xbox One Slim, which is like, what, $300?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's $300, the games media, the IGNs, the GameSpots, the Kotakus, the Polygons, they're going to compare them against each other. And I've never thought that's fair because this is a portable machine. Whether it can connect to your TV or not, it's a portable, it's a handheld. It's not a console. It's not a giant box. You can take it with you. And I'm sure they'll say that. You know, IGN, when they get the specs, they're going to go, the difference here is you can take this with you. But you know that chart is coming. I know that chart is coming. They're going to have the chart that says PS4 Pro, 10 teraflops, 8 gigs of RAM, 40,000 megabits per second, and then they're going to have the NX over here. 32 gigabytes of RAM, 2.2 teraflops, and it's just, I know it's coming, and I'm already ruining the internet's hatred over it. So that's the only reason I bring that up. I'm still extremely excited about it. If anything, going back to our topic of the week, this might be the only thing that I can tell you that I'm truly hyped for. Like, I'm excited to play Gears, and I want to play Call of Duty, but I'm not, like, hyped for them. I'm not, like, take a day off of work to play those. I am hyped for NX. And if this thing rings true, especially if it's coming out around my birthday, March 10th, Mario Day, I'm totally taking a week off work to play this thing. Like, it looks awesome.
Well, I think, though, I mean, and currently I tentatively have 2 days off for the Thursday and Friday that PSVR come out. But
there you go.
I think, though, you know, when Vita released, it was $249, and the 3G version of it was $299. So they're not necessarily that far off, and you know, in all intents and purposes, this is going to be more powerful than the Vita is. So, and most people thought the price of the Vita was very good for what it was. So it was, you know, the memory cards and things like that that were abhorrent. But the Vita itself, on face value, the price was really good, and most people didn't. There wasn't a lot of complaints about the price of it. So if this thing comes out and it comes with the box at $300, I would. Maybe people will be upset about it. It's the internet, so probably some will. But to me, on face value, if you told me it was $300 with that box, I'd probably be down for it.
I do feel like there's people like you, Kyle, that are completely sold on their console experience on their PS4 or their Xbox One. Even Nathan. I feel like they're completely sold on that. And I feel like if Nintendo can go, hey, we know you've got that awesome box over there. We've got this other thing. It's a portable. It does something different. You can play some of the same games, but we also have these exclusives that you can't. I do feel like that's a really good sell. I can see a lot of people double dipping. I can see a lot of people going, I have a PS4 and an NX.
It's your new go-between, you know? What I would like to see, my one wish list, how cool would it be if it could play 3DS games?
Oh, the backwards compatibility. I'm taking the approach that I think this is the first time that they kill backwards
Like, I never use it so much because usually the experience is just, you know, so poor compared to what the current is, but I think that'd be cool. But then again, I'm like, how would that work? Because especially if it's going to put it up onto the TV, because let's face it, 3DS games, when they're pushed out of their native resolution, look terrible. So
Sure, absolutely. And And just to reiterate before we move on to your next news topics, Kyle, I don't think there'll be an experience where you can play certain things on the portable and not things on the TV, because the NX fundamentally, from all the evidence that's been gathered, is Nintendo is trying really hard, like 5 years in the making, to compile their console and portable development teams together. Like, that's kind of the whole point. I believe that's why the code name of the project is called NX, Nintendo Crossover. They put those development houses together to the point where they actually built a building to co-locate them. I think we've already seen the proof of those labors by seeing the Wii U being able to be ported down to a 3DS. Talk about a huge gap in technology between both of those pieces of technology. I really believe that would not be the case. I'm almost 100% certain that this whole thing is a way for Nintendo to go, we don't make console and or portable games in separate factories anymore. Now we just make Nintendo games, and you can play them over here, you can play them over there. But I think they're trying to unify that so their output is equal to other companies with or without third-party support. So, with that said, that's our little NX watch. Like I said, that announcement is impending. Does anybody have any other news?
I didn't until I was like, oh, there's this too. Since we were to keep the Nintendo train rolling, it's apparently Nintendo's taking final orders from retailers on Wii U consoles.
I saw that. Yeah, you can't. And I don't think anybody's ordering it based on the way they're selling, but you can no longer order Wii U's soon. So they've essentially cut that off. It's done.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. I will say, Jason, when I saw that, it was funny because there were I know there had been some people who were wondering if, you could still order Wii U's, and that they had talked to some, some GameStops and some Best Buys, and the ones that they had talked to have been like, well, we haven't had to order any since like May,
yeah.
So we really don't know if we still can. But, so that's kind of fun. I mean, I like Nintendo. It's unfortunate.
There's going to be millions of people that get a Wii U like 2 years from now.
I know.
Like when the NX is going gangbusters, they're just going to have a great time.
What I've learned by playing the Market Warriors game on Street Pass Plaza, Donnie, you're going to have to sell that Wii U while the price is high. Because I mean, if retailers don't have a problem with stock, well, I mean, they're not going to be able to sell new ones. Your price on your used one's going to be squat.
I can't sell the Wii U until Wind Waker HD is available on another platform. That's the law that I'm more or less operating under.
I do have a couple brief pieces of news. One of them, Donnie, I'll refer to, and that is Oceanhorn is coming to Vita. Oceanhorn is a game that I had reviewed for the site, and people still have contacted me and been like, dude, you only gave it a 7.8. It is a good game, people. Play this game, especially when it comes to Vita. This is a game that is definitely at home there. I wish it had been on Vita when I had played it, and I likely will play it again when it comes to Vita. Now, release date or anything like that has been announced, and FDG Entertainment, the folks who published the game, did the very, very classy thing of basically just tweeting a picture of Oceanhorn running on Vita and being like, hey, we heard you, and here it comes. So that's pretty exciting. Vita is not dead yet. Vita is still alive, so keep those handy. The other one, which is a little bit of an interesting side note, and I didn't even know this was happening, so I guess that tells you how connected I am to Toys to Life, but Skylanders Academy, a Netflix show based on the popular Activision Toys to Life series, will premiere on October 28th. While I didn't really think this was that overly noteworthy, it does have some really heavy hitters behind it, so I thought I would bring this up. The showrunner is a guy named Eric Rogers, and he was actually a writer on Futurama. And the voice talent in the show includes Justin Long, Jonathan Banks, Norm Macdonald, Ashley Tisdale, Susan Sarandon, and James Hetfield. So I was pretty surprised by this. I was like, wow, this is not like some James super knockoff quick buck. Yeah, from Metallica himself. So, that was actually really good, Jason.
That was perfect.
So season 1 is premiering October 28th. Apparently, according to some fan sites, a season 2 has already been confirmed and is planned for 2017. But I'm just really interested by this to see, how many people, what sort of audience there is for a show like this. Is this a situation where people who play Skylanders already, or families who play it are going to watch this show, or is this a situation that is going to drive people to now potentially purchase Skylanders because there is a new Skylanders Imaginators coming out this fall? So I thought this was pretty interesting, especially just the talent behind it. I was super surprised by that. It seems like they're definitely trying to make it a high-quality product. So I probably will check it out just to kind of see, even though I know nothing about Skylanders other than it has Spyro and Crash this fall. Yeah, so there you go. Skylanders Academy coming to Netflix October 28th.
There you go.
Cool. All right, folks. Thanks for listening. It's time for us to say goodbyes. Give you our final plugs. Jason, got anything you want to tell the lovely listeners about?
No, I don't got nothing new besides the usual. Go to the site, follow us on social media, do all the things. Do all the things.
Do all the things. Kyle, got anything you want to plug there, buddy?
Look for a review from me soon for Strike Vector X. Outside of that, become my friend on PSN, Psychocross, CYCOCROSS. Same for Twitter. Yeah, keep checking our stuff out. We appreciate all of you who listen and come to the site and do all those things. We greatly appreciate that, as it helps us feel like we're not alone as we go on this grand adventure that has been Play Some Video Games.
Definitely. And speaking of friending Psychocross, man, I'm feeling like another PS4 poker night is in order soon.
Yeah, we should do that again.
Yeah, I think we might do that next week. All right, the ghost of Kevin speaks again. He wants to let you know that by the time you're listening to this podcast, he may have a review out for Virginia and gameplay ready for Jazz Punk. Kevin is currently working on those reviews and for the site, and that's probably what he's doing as he plays hooky on the podcast. Make sure to visit us at placevideogames.com, check out our reviews, check out the news, comment. We scrapped the forums because a lot of people are using them. We had like 3 people that were using them, and those are the same 3 people that are commenting on the story. So come comment, and we're all usually there like most every day of the week, even when we're at work. So come talk to us over there. Again, you can email us at podcast@placeandvideogames.com. Follow us on Twitter at PSVG, like us on Facebook, facebook.com/placeandvideogames. Please continue to share with your friends. The iTunes reviews have been great. I even saw some Stitcher reviews. We're on every major podcasting service, so out there, let everybody know who we are. Let them know why you like us. And as always, boys and girls, never stop gaming.
Thank you for listening to Play Some Video Games, the official podcast.